A living faith is a faith that doesn't remain stagnant. It's a faith that's passed on from one person to another. There was a man named Mr. Kimball in 1855 who felt the urge to pass on his living faith in Christ to one of his Sunday school students. He was walking past the shoe store where his student worked, and he fought the battle of his mind, because his mind was saying, maybe it's not a good time, maybe my Sunday school student wouldn't want me to come into his workplace. Finally, he decided to go for it. He wanted to pass on his faith in Christ. When he got into the bookstore, he saw his student back there, and he laid his hand on his shoulder, and he went to him and he told him about the love of Christ. He made what Mr. Kimball felt was a feeble attempt to explain the love that Jesus had for him. But tears came to his eyes, and that young man in that moment realized the love that Christ had for him. And that faith that Mr. Kimball had was passed on to his student. The student's life was transformed in that moment as he encountered a living faith in Christ. That student's name was Dwight Moody. Dwight Moody is D.L. Moody, the great evangelist of the 19th century, and through Dwight Moody's ministry, many came to faith in Christ. And there's even a trickle-down effect, connections, if you will, through a series of events and ministries that one Billy Graham would accept a living faith in Jesus Christ, the great evangelist of the past century. A living faith is a powerful faith. It's not stagnant. It keeps flowing, it keeps moving, and it keeps doing God's work in the world. But what if Mr. Kimball had been frozen by his fear of rejection, or paralyzed by the thought that this isn't the right time? What if he had kept his faith to himself and just tried to hope that people caught it in Sunday school? The faith would have grown stagnant. It would have grown stale. It would have not been a moving, living faith. I think a lot of people today in church have a stagnant faith because they're afraid of rejection. They're not sure when the right time is to share their faith. But God calls us to much more than that. He calls us to a living faith that can't stay within us, but living water of Christ that flows out of us and touches people around us. And when you're in tune with that living faith, you're in for an exciting journey. So I encourage you to walk in the living faith of Christ, a faith that can't be kept inside of you, but a faith that comes out, that you share with others.